what can I say about Doom? It was a game that made a huge impact on both the video game industry and gamers alike. Released in 1993, Doom was the game that kickstarted the first-person shooter genre. Now before anybody calls bullshit on that, yes, I am fully aware that Wolfenstein came out first, but it was Doom that made the concept popular, and without it, games like Duke Nukem, Quake, GoldenEye 007, Medal of Honor, and Call of Duty probably would not exist today. Today I'm going to be taking a look at one of Doom's console ports. Now, of course a game like Doom was bound to see console ports. It's been ported to systems such as the Sega 32X, the Super Nintendo, the Atari Jaguar, the 3DO, and the PlayStation. I'm going to be taking a look at the Super Nintendo version. This version of Doom was released in 1995. It was one of the very few games that used a Super Effects chip and showed off what the Super Nintendo was capable of. Does that make this version good, however? Well, let's take a look. Now for starters, this port has a total of 22 levels. 8 for Episode 1, 6 for Episode 2, and 8 for Episode 3. Out of these 22 levels, 3 of them, 1 per episode, are secret levels. Due to limitations, 5 levels from the original Doom are missing. An interesting thing about this port is, out of all the 4th gen console ports of Doom, this is the only port to contain the Cyber Demon and Spider Demon bosses. Which is kinda strange considering that the 3DO, the Sega 32X, and the Jaguar have superior technology and could have added in those bosses without a problem, and yet they don't have them at all. This port also has most of the sound effects from the original PC version, and a good rendition of the Doom soundtrack. The Super Nintendo sound card may not have been as good as the Windows 95 PC sound card, but it was still enjoyable nonetheless. In fact, let me show you some good examples. Pretty good. But that's where the positives end. The rest of this game is a total mess. For starters, the controls are really sluggish. When you press down a button, it takes the game a full second to respond, and thanks to the horrifically low frame rate, it feels like you are wading through molasses, even if you're holding down the sprint button. The game screen is scaled down so you have a small screen with a huge black border surrounding it, and if you wanted to play it at full screen, then that's too bad because the game doesn't give you the option to adjust the screen size. Also, the graphics in this port are horribly pixelated to the point where you have a difficult time seeing what's ahead of you. To add to that problem, the enemies from afar tend to blend in with the background, so there will be times when you're walking around and wondering why you're taking damage and wondering where the enemy is. The only way you'll be able to tell where an enemy is from afar is to watch for a few moving pixels. It also doesn't help that due to memory limitations, the enemies can only face forward. Yeah, that means there's no infighting among monsters, and I'm alright with that. However, this can make certain areas difficult when enemies blend in with the background and are on a different floor. It's a good thing that the Spectre was removed in this port, because trying to see the damn thing would be impossible. The AI in this game can be pretty unresponsive. Sometimes when you see a group of enemies, they won't respond to your presence at all, even if you shoot them.
Another thing I have to mention is Nightmare Mode. Yeah, you remember Nightmare Mode, right? That cruel mode where cheats can't be activated. It has just as many monsters as the ultra-violent difficulty. The monsters are faster, stronger, and it takes more ammo to kill them, and on top of that they respawn, practically making the game unbeatable. That mode where the fun was not in trying to beat it, but to see how far you got? Well, they sucked the fun out of that too. The monsters in this version don't respawn, they are still pretty easy to kill, and they aren't that tough. They are just faster than normal, so basically, Nightmare Mode is just the ultra-violent difficulty with faster monsters. It's completely pointless to have it in this port. And now we mention one of the most fatal flaws this game has to offer. As I said in the beginning, the game has a total of 22 levels, and it does take quite a while to get through all of them. So, if you wanted to take a break from the game, well then that's where you're shit out of luck, because this game has neither a save feature nor a password feature. This was once again probably due to memory limitations, but if you are going to port a game that huge into a technically inferior console with a medium that doesn't even hold that much memory to begin with, and you can't fit in a password feature, then this game should not be ported to that console. In conclusion, yes, the fact that they could port Doom to the Super Nintendo was amazing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good idea. Due to memory limitations, so much had to be removed, and it ended up botching the game to the point where it severely cripples the gameplay. Even with the Super FX 2 chip, Doom was just too big of a game for the Super Nintendo to handle. That said, I am the Coffee Man, and I hope you've enjoyed this review.